Come and see Nosferatu in the cinemas only this Christmas. Come and see the film and buy overpriced popcorn and poisonous drinks in your local Cineplex. Nosferatu, not for the weak hearted. Come see a man who hasn't seen the sun in over 1,000 years, and he's obsessed with women, still at his age. Doesn't understand that there's something higher. Come see the movie. Popcorn, drinks, you know the routine. Come, come, come.
Come to me. I'm ready.
All right, a little bit of a comedy entry into into this movie, and I recommend this movie even though I haven't seen it. So it's not really a review. How can you review something that you haven't seen? But that's the beauty of intuition. With movies years ago, I think people didn't have to see very much. They didn't have to see very much about what they knew they wanted to see. If you knew you wanted to see something, it took a very small amount of. It could just be a small clip online, or well, it wouldn't have been online, but on TV, and you were thinking, okay, I really want to see that. That's what I want to go and see. I don't need to know any more other than that I want to go and see it, right? So when I think of this movie, Nosferatu, let's be honest about, movies nowadays are not as good as they were years ago. In my opinion anyway, right? They're not as good. They're not as interesting. The people are not as interesting. The filmmakers are not as interesting. It's a medium that is new, but at the same time seems to be fading out in a lot of areas too. Mainly because the enemy runs the main movies, right? The enemy runs most of the main movies, and they have to get their. Well, they don't have to, but that's what they're doing. They have to get, or they feel that they have to get their message through to everyone, so we all think the way they want us to think. See, that's what the enemy, the real enemy, not Germany, not France, not the real enemy. Well, the real enemy is yourself as an individual, right? But they've turned us on ourselves. So if it wasn't for the enemy making movies that wages war on us, which is what it does through their movies, because waging war in their minds is making sure that we think and protect them, which we shouldn't be doing. So when I think of Nosferatu, even though it is a film I want to go and see in the cinema, and I would recommend going to see it in the cinema, just to segue back to something I was just thinking about. I don't know if anyone's heard Orlok's voice. I hadn't heard it, but I heard a lot of people talking about how great it is. This guy, I think his name is Bill Skarsgård. I'm butchering his last name. But I just heard his voice, and it really is something else. It's really creepy. It's got this really creepy kind of dialect to it, and it's very octave low. It's really good. Really, really good. So Robert Eggers made this movie. He made only one film I've seen of his from before, which is The Lighthouse. And because of that one movie, I'd recommend seeing any film that this guy makes. This guy really knows how to make a movie. But just to segue back again to what I said a minute ago at the start, movies and the people in movies are not as good or as interesting, in my opinion, as they were before. Or maybe that's just, wishful thinking or kind of like nostalgia on my part. But I really think that. I think that movies took a really silly turn about maybe in the start of the 2000s. They started to take really idiotic, stupid turns into CGI and this ridiculous fucking Marvel movies and superhero movies flying around with a pair of tights on. But there still is good movies. If you look between the raindrops, you can still find good movies. So I would recommend Nosferatu. I'm going to go and see it. And maybe I'll do a better review of that film after I see it, because you can't really make a fucking review of a movie if you haven't seen the movie, right? Anyway, that's all I got for now. I hope you liked the intro. I was goofing around with a couple of things, and I just done this silly messing around, funny, whatever. And I thought I'll just leave that on because actually I kind of liked it, and if I like it, then maybe someone else likes it. I don't know. It's a bit of fun. So Nosferatu looks good. Looks good. I like the look of it, and like I said, Robert Eggers is a really good filmmaker, and he deserves to get people to watch his films in the cinema.